Hello everyone, thanks for waiting. Welcome to the CVG live play. I'm James Jarvis. I'm joined today by Dan Dawkins. He says hello. Hello to people on YouTube and Twitch, hopefully. Hopefully you're getting both streams and you can choose which one you want to watch on. I'm also joined by Mr. Trophy, Ian Wilson.
Hello.
There's his arm if you're watching on Twitch. We will sort that camera out in a second, but we thought it was best to start and then we can sort out other things as we're going along, so you don't feel like you're missing anything. Trophy is the one who's done the speed run on the channel, which you can see by clicking on the videos on our CVG YouTube account. But I think what Dan wanted to do was see if he can beat that record, right, Dan?
No.
No? Has that changed?
I won't beat it.
No, but you wanted to see if
Ian
could beat it.
Ian could beat that record. Yeah, that's
live on air.
Yeah. So the first thing we're going to do today is Ian Wilson, Mr. Trophy, is going to try to beat. I don't know if it's the world record, but certainly an extremely fast time for Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes speed runs.
Yes.
We think a time. Well, we know a time of like 5 minutes 30 is possible. We've got a colleague who's done it. See if we can beat that. It's easier said than done because obviously a lot can go wrong and Ian may have to restart. Now we will give him a few restarts.
But how many are we going to give him?
Well,
2.
We said we'd go until
on a time basis.
We said we'd go till 3:30.
Alright, so that's quite a few then.
And at which point from 3:30 onwards I'll be picking up with the live Metal Gear Solid 5
Q&A.
conspiracy theories and plot Q&A. So you may or may not be aware, if you've seen my stuff on Twitter or on CVG, I write an awful lot about Metal Gear Solid, probably too much. I'm absolutely absorbed in the lore and the fiction. About 2 years ago I wrote an article on then PSM3 magazine, which went into CVG, which essentially predicted the tenets of what has become Metal Gear Solid 5. Some bits might be wrong, some bits might not have been found out yet, but I was fairly pleased with how the predictions went.
Pleased with yourself.
Pretty pleased with myself, to be honest. Well, I was largely right. So we're going to go through a lot of the mysteries from Metal Gear Solid 5 and also the new things that are hidden within Ground Zeroes. Now on the surface it looks like there's not a lot, but in fact if you listen to all the audio diaries and hidden dialogue, there's a lot of clues or expansions on what we can expect in the final game. It's made me absolutely thrilled.
Okay.
I cannot wait.
Now before we get straight into this, if you've got any questions for Dan, please put them in the comments on Twitch and YouTube. Jack Gillespie has asked if this is going to be spoiler free. I imagine by what you've just said, no, for the Metal Gear stuff.
The speed run is not that spoiler free because you are seeing an accelerated version of Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes main mission.
But he is skipping all the cutscenes.
You're skipping the cutscenes and you're just seeing the mechanics of what the mission is in raw gameplay terms. It's a little bit of a spoiler. The conspiracy Q&A will be like a bath of spoilers.
Yeah, and then, but if you don't like any of that or you don't want to be spoiled, we are doing some infamous Second Son stuff a bit later on in the stream, which is going to be mainly just gameplay stuff. You won't get spoiled by that, but you will see some of the powers and stuff and some of the stunning graphics in action, but there shouldn't be any story spoilers in that too much.
That is a safe, spoil-free moment. But yeah, for Metal Gear, if you want to go in completely pure, catch this up again on YouTube later on.
Yeah, Troy, let's get it started because we're looking at a title screen for 3 minutes is not fun. So
what are the rules of the game? As in, we're playing with the reflex mode on, so you've got the slow-mo get out.
Yeah, all the standard settings, normal mode, and yeah, reflex is on as standard, so I'll be going with that.
I'm going to try and sort this camera out, Dan. You guys carry on.
Okay.
See how far I can get into this.
Oops.
Hey.
Because it's a speed run, and sort of every second counts on it, depending on how things go. There's potential for me to get caught and have to like restart or why isn't that working?
Okay, so you are
It's a
actually
really
have you begun? So you've begun now, Ian.
Well, I have begun, but
it seems a bit slow, doesn't it?
No, straight away it's not working. And it's not calling a helicopter and it's putting a marker down. I don't know why.
Alright, well
So,
I already feel like you should be free to restart.
Yeah, let me just have a look and make sure that there's no like weird settings or anything that's been put on here, because that's not what normally happens in the game when you select that option.
Apologies to everyone with a view of the ceiling, James's hands. Soon you should see human faces again. In fact, there we go. You could get a glimpse of Mr. Trophy.
Top of my head, there it is.
Top of his head, top of my head.
So we want to go down.
Definitely go down. There it is. Beautiful. The top of Ian's head.
Right,
For everyone to see.
Really is literally the top of my head.
Complete pate. It's all there.
Well, alright, okay.
What are we doing now?
No, that's my shoulder.
Thanks
you
for everyone.
Go to your right a little bit.
Thanks to everyone who's tuned in on
So, put it to your
YouTube. Jack Gillespie says,
I'm
I'm out of here.
Right,
Good luck
yeah,
on the
keep
speed
going,
run. I'll be
keep
back for
going.
Infamous. We'll see you soon, Jack.
Yeah, stop. That's my
Slayer
face.
says,
That's probably that's probably all we're going to get at that distance, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Slayer says, will this be
got
going
a,
for an hour or longer? Yes, 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours as we've explained.
Right.
And do keep your comments coming on Twitch. Thanks to everyone who's watching.
Is that the length of the...
It won't go much further.
Okay, fair enough. We might just have to move the camera depending on who's doing what. You just try and figure out why this isn't working while you do that.
You can't make the buttons work. It's going to be one hell of a speed.
Well, yeah. I mean, as I say, the I don't know whether this has been at all affected by the fact that we're playing on a completely fresh profile. So this is the first time this game's actually been played on it. But yeah, normally when you pull that up and select the landing zone, it calls a helicopter in, and it's not doing it. It's just placing a marker there. So we might need to give him just a running through this first bit.
That's a good view of Ian's face. That's quite a good. You got it really good for Ian's face there, James. It's a really good, solid face. I'll just stay out of picture. I'm not the interesting character here, it's Ian. So that's good.
So let's try. Let me just try restarting this. Let's see what happens.
I'm gonna jump across.
I want to make it clear with speedruns. A lot of people have said about the speedruns we've put on the YouTube channel already. A lot of people have seen that as a sign that somehow that means Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes is a bad game. It's a short game. It's utterly the wrong conversation. It's like talking about, for example, the desert in Sega Rally and saying, "Oh, people have ruined it by doing it too quickly." Like, one of the ways you can play Ground Zeroes is to play it in a speedrun fashion. The game is designed for it. The game rewards it with points. You can see Ian legging it right now. But there are multiple other factors in play, including the amount of people you kill or don't kill, alerts tripped, all these other things, usage of your reflex mode, which is a slow-mo. All those things affect your score. Now, it's possible to play this game, like the first time I did it, it took me 90 minutes to 2 hours to do the main mission. I think that's like, standard is between, say, 60 and 90 minutes.
Yeah, it took me about 7 minutes.
And I'm already at 14 hours with Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes. I reckon I'm only 25% of the game unlocked. And every night I'm still finding more things. Now, apart from the fact there's all the side ops and all the different ways to play the side ops, you know, I would say it's similar to Grand Theft Auto in terms of the way you play it, but that is not even a fair reflection. I think Ground Zeroes is a much deeper experience, and it's possible to play it in lots of different ways, create your own fun. Anyone who's followed Metal Gear throughout history, even Metal Gear Solid 4, will know there's lots of different ways to experiment and do this game stealthily, loud, to exploit the guards, to exploit the systems. It's a complete white elephant to say this is a short game, it's not worth your time. Cannot stress that enough. You're going to say it now, James, aren't you? It's a white elephant.
What?
That's alright. No, I was only.
What do you want me to say?
Nothing. Nothing.
Do you want me to be the?
You can just agree. And then it's fine.
Dan is absolutely
Yes.
right.
Yes.
As he was for predicting a lot of the plot elements for Metal Gear. I mean, if we had cigars, now would be the time. Also, on a similar vein to predicting the GTA 5 plot as well. Also, probably earn a cigar for that.
Yeah, 2 cigars at once.
Yeah, good. Okay, on to comments. Lwaster84 says, do you guys do this out of work time or during? I'd love to say it was mainly during work time, but as Troph will probably attest, we spent quite a lot of time at home.
The last 2 evenings, yeah, slowly gaining through this, trying
And
to
that,
get the best strategy.
we should point out that that wasn't as part of something that we had said you definitely need to do this. You were doing that because you enjoy doing it.
Oh
and it's
yeah,
fun.
yeah. I mean, there's been a couple in the office who've been challenging each other to get the fastest time possible on it. So it's kind of a bit of competition between us doing that. But yeah, that was the main reason for doing it.
Now, are you in the middle of a speedrun, Ian, or just starting?
No. I'm trying to figure out why the game's not letting me put a helicopter in. I think it's because the mission hasn't been played through, which is quite annoying. Because it basically means that until that's sorted out, because the whole constant speed bonus of putting helicopters in straight away and getting in there fast. I've never seen it do this before, so I don't know why it's doing it. I assume it's because
Saved it for the live stream.
Yeah, I think you're right though. I think it's because
it's not been done before.
Yeah.
So hopefully if I get rid of these guys, get a helicopter called in.
I think you probably would have to complete it. But Savage Minion on the Twitch stream has asked, hey, what's up? And have you tried to roll for 5 seconds? Now, I imagine this is a hint towards the, what they called? XOF?
Yeah.
XOF patches.
It is, yeah. Yeah, that's it. There's 9 of those patches hidden around this mission, and if you collect all 9 of them, you unlock the special extra bonus mission, which is the Deja Vu mission we do on PlayStation or on Xbox. Is the Deja Vu mission.
Yeah.
And yeah, the first one of those, basically, if you lie down and continuously roll for say about 5 seconds, you get a cutscene played, and it turns out the first patch is actually stuck to your back, behind your backpack, and all
nice.
that rolling kind of flicks it out, and then you can pick it up.
Yeah, and as you say, there's differences between formats. So the Deja Vu PlayStation exclusive extra op mode is. Will we see a little thing of it here? What happens when you can get up?
Well, there's one of them.
Oh, okay, you're not getting the full cutscene. But yeah, the Deja Vu is a ode to the classic Metal Gear Solid on PS1. Similar skin. You have to recreate moments or like visual moments from Metal Gear. Now, when you finish it, there is some nice surprises. I probably won't. Well, I don't know. We're in the realms of spoilers, but there is a very nice surprise at the end. To really get the full surprise, you need to know your Metal Gear history inside out, because there are some questions.
Speaking of questions.
Yes, James, segue.
Huh? Well, actually, okay, we'll start with another Lwaster84 question, who says, in your professional opinion now,
Yeah.
what do you think the chances of this being bundled with the Phantom Pain are when the Phantom Pain eventually comes out?
Okay, well, this is interesting. This was a question posed to Hideo Kojima during the Jeff Keighley live Q&A last week.
Live, not live Q&A.
Yeah, a live stream that made me feel good about the relative, foibles of our own live streams. Now that live stream obviously started like 20 minutes late. It was plagued by ASCII attacks from various forumites, including pictures of Hitler, pictures of the male anatomy, like Doge or Doge, whatever you call it, all kinds of stuff. It was a proper mad spam fest, and when it eventually began, they forgot to put the sound on, which I can empathise with, because it is something we've done. But yeah, anyway, they asked Kojima that very question, and what he said was, essentially, they haven't decided yet, for sure, but he did suggest there might be different missions at the start of Metal Gear Solid 5 for people who finish Ground Zeroes.
Right.
Interesting thing to note here, Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes is billed as a prologue, almost like a tutorial to learn to play the game. Now, when Kojima first demoed the Phantom Pain, which we sort of know as the prologue of MGS5, the full game to come out in, say, 2015, he talked about that acting as a prologue as well, and introducing you to the controls. So it seems unusual that the game would begin with this and then have another tutorial after it. So whether he is in fact planning, and this wouldn't be completely unprecedented in Metal Gear history, because, you know, in Metal Gear Solid 2 it asked you what your familiarity was with Metal Gear Solid, and it affected the way the game began and what you got to do.
Yeah.
So this wouldn't be unprecedented, and I wouldn't be surprised if there is some variation depending on your interaction with this.
Okay, fine. A bit more, another chance for you to get a cigar out here, Dan, as well. You ready? Ready for your third one of the day?
Yeah.
William Medhurst says he's just received his copy of OPM and read Dan's articles on GTA 5 and PES 15. They were extremely enlightening and enjoyable, including the prospect of 32-player GTA 5. Keep it up, good job.
Thank you.
There you go, just a little pat on the back for you, just on a Friday afternoon.
Kind. These are basically all the games I know anything about, so it's good to keep talking about them.
Ian needs to be close to the mic. That's a problem that we can't really fix. Maybe you just shout.
Talk louder.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Our Russian friend from last week is back. He says hello
excellent.
again.
Thank you. Good to see you back.
Hello, good to see you again. Glad to see you joining us on the stream. Dimas329 says, "What the hell is this game? Is it GTA 5?" The title in the headline, it says Ground Zeroes and Infamous. So that's what it is. This is not both of them. It's Ground Zeroes.
I think I might have figured it out.
That's good. What is it?
I was doing the wrong thing.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, Ian.
So,
right, that's fine. That's fine.
I've only been playing this for about 10 hours.
I mean,
straight,
it's
so.
the pressure of getting to being on live, on camera. All of the things get to us all. You know, we can't all be professionals all the time.
What we said is, at 3 o'clock, we were supposed to begin
Yeah.
a series of speed runs on Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes to see how quickly we can do it. Again, to reiterate, this is not just to show the game can be beaten quickly, it's to show what an expert player can do. Ian has warned us it can go horribly wrong. It has for the last 20 minutes.
Gone a little bit wrong.
Because we chose the wrong mode, the mark of an expert.
Yeah.
But don't worry, he thinks he's worked it out.
I think I've got it.
So now we think we can go in and show you how to optimize a speed run, and this is kind of like laying a benchmark, and you can see this on other videos on the YouTube channel. See if you can beat them. We've got a colleague within work who works for Edge magazine, and he has got his time down to 5 minutes 30-ish, which is incredible, and I think there's probably even scope to improve that slightly.
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of meta games within Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes, incredible meta games. One of them includes a longest sniper shot challenge, right?
That's it, yeah. Longest sniper shot, longest headshot, longest trank shot, all those sort of things are tracked and pop up the whole time you're playing if you want them as well.
Now, Mike has said currently his best ever sniper shot, and this is he thinks, standing at one edge of the map, shooting to the other edge.
Yeah.
The longest he can physically do is 270 meters.
240, something like that.
240, but the record is 350 or something.
Yeah, 300 odd, I think. So
300
yeah,
odd.
like
So something.
somebody's found a way of getting even further away.
There's some juju. Now, whether you can step outside the map, I was speculating on this with Mike, the guy who's doing stuff for Edge, and he was saying the game has got everything is measured and metered, classic Great J game design, so that every weapon's got a penetration rating, so that your sniper rifle is noisy, it's ultra long range, and it can penetrate through very thick materials. So it might be the record sniper shot can only be done through solid ground.
God.
Which is proper proper juju. Now again, that sounds insane, but because you can mark guards with your goggles and have them come up on the map, it could be that you can mark someone, see them through solid terrain from an incredibly long distance, and achieve a 300 meter shot. Even better, if you've seen a 300 meter shot, if you've achieved one, if you've got it to share, point us in the direction of the YouTube link.
Right, shall I get started?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Right. And while you're doing that, I can say Henry Bernal has joined this live stream, first live stream ever. He says
hello.
So hello, thanks for joining us. He may have come from our GTA, some of the other live streams that we've done, and are recorded on YouTube, which you can watch by going to cvg.com. No, you can't. youtube.com/cvg. He says, do you guys know of the weird music that plays in GTA 5? around the bunker. Yes, we've investigated the bunker quite a lot. It's where the spoilers. It's where the Fort Zancudo UFO appears. Above it, you can see some green lights on it. If you go there at 3 a.m, which gives you an indication that it's up in the sky. There's lots more about all of the mysteries on GTA Fact or Fiction, and the new episode of that is going live today in around about 45 minutes. You should be able to check that on the YouTube channel. So if you like all of the mysteries and weird things around GTA, go and check that out. And William Medhurst, who says it's his first one as well, and he is one of our GTA 5 goodie bag winners from the Wednesday show.
Fantastic.
So he says thanks again, because he never said thanks properly. So yes, if you like GTA 5, we do a live show on Wednesday.
Ian, that's
Ian's just messed up the first attempt at his speedrun. So now we're just going to
restart. He
straight
knows
away.
he's gone. This is classic speedrun behaviour. Let's call it speedrun behaviour then, because I've gone mad. Speedrun behaviour. He's guffed it. He's got to go back. There's no coming back from that. So, well, there is. It's called a restart.
If you're watching on Twitch or YouTube and you've got any hints that you've done a similar kind of thing to give to Ian or to give to us about, or things that you want to see in Metal Gear Ground Zeroes as we play it on the live stream, let us know in the comments and we'll get on them. And if you have any questions about the plot or any kind of mysteries surrounding the whole of the MGS universe, then please put them down and we'll pass them on to Dan and he'll try and answer them live on air. I think you do have a list later on for the conspiracy and plot section, which we'll do after the speed.
I've got a number of things I'm going to talk about based on questions that we received on Twitter. Thanks to everyone who replied to the @CVG_news Twitter appeal for questions. A lot of them are on the same theme. A lot of them are about the identity of Skullface and how it all links to the main game. I've got some ideas, I've got some theories and some background. We'll be talking about that quite soon, but we're running slightly behind, ironically, on the speedrun.
The speedrun has not been as quick as we planned. So yeah, as Dan says, that will be coming up after we do this speedrun in hopefully the quickest time you would have seen on a live stream yet. And then we are going to play some Infamous Second Son. So if you've bought that today or you're thinking about buying it, we'll be showing off some of the game, some of the beautiful graphics in it, and some of the powers and stuff. But that will be relatively spoiler free. We won't do any actual missions. We've just got some little things, little extra things around the world to go and do, like security cameras and spray painting and things like that, which should give you a good overview of the world and how everything works. So if you don't particularly enjoy the Metal Gear stuff, hopefully you'll enjoy the Infamous stuff, and if you don't enjoy either of them, then come back next week and we'll be doing some more things. Dan, you're making a face.
I just winced as Ian ran so close to the cliff edge. Because when I've fallen off this cliff edge before.
You have to go pretty close to that because there's guys on the other side.
Look at that, the chopper was there waiting for you. Good early calling. This seems alright so far, you're going quite well.
Good. This is pretty good.
I won't put you off, so you just concentrate. We'll do the talking for you.
Now, a debate that's been raging for a long time, Dan, about since Ground Zeroes was
on your feet,
previewed and things like that, is about its length and stuff like that. This, obviously, as we've said, is only one tiny way to play the game. If you want to play and get the most out of it, doing it stealthily and spending hours in the world will get you all of that experience. And this, obviously, to do it this way takes hours and hours of practice to do it this fast.
You can't do it in 7 minutes in your first go.
No. But Jake 8-bit says, is Ground Zeroes ethical for its length? That's an interesting choice of words.
What does he mean?
I think is it worth it, basically? Is it going to be worth... Because now it's just gone down again, right? On PSN, it's now £25.
Really? Yeah, that's really good. I'll be honest with you. I think for people who like playing games to be good at them, who appreciate deep and rich systems, it's difficult to say. I love Metal Gear so much, it's hard to sort of separate from it, but everyone I know within work, and there's quite a few people,
I think it's gone wrong.
It's gone wrong.
It's gone wrong.
We'll give you another go, alright? The first bit was flawless, it's gone wrong.
Yeah.
I think if you've got any love for Metal Gear Solid, or certainly for games that reward repetition and skill, and this is sort of from the same vein as classic games like SSX,
Oh, I love it. SSX.
Skate,
And
all
I
those
liked
sorts of
Skate.
games, right? The skill-based gameplay in this that doesn't immediately reveal itself is there. even though it's a very small environment. I think it's worth the money. I've played it for 10 to 15 hours. I've unlocked 25% of the content. A lot of it is to do with how much you care about unlocking the audio tapes. As I'll reveal shortly, the audio tapes are in fact hugely significant and contain allusions to some of the most shocking scenes you never see in all of video games, which is amazing.
Well, I think it's stuff that you have to imagine in your mind, which is almost worse when you have to make your own sort of depictions of what the things is going on, which is, I mean, it just depends on how messed up your mind is, Dan, I guess.
Yeah, this, you know, if people have got upset about the a sort of stomach surgery scene in this game, and that's tame compared to what is implied in the audio, and you know, I guess more than that, there's the side ops. There's lots of other different things to do.
Cool. Henry Bernal's getting a Elgato game recorder for his birthday, and he's going to start a channel. Just wants a bit of advice. I'd say just do things that you enjoy and make them good. Yeah, don't overload your channel with stuff, but just do things that are fun. And editing is very important. That's, I mean, as you'll notice from our excellently edited together live streams. But yeah, just communicate with people who are watching your stuff, see what they like, see what they don't like, and hopefully you'll do well. So good luck with that. Okay.
Thanks a lot. Love your camel. Oh, I said thank you. Love your channel.
Yeah.
I love our camel as well.
Riding the camel. How many humps does our camel have? 1 or 2?
I've had the hump on more than one occasion. See?
See, not only do you get speedruns of MGS, you also get some excellent puns.
Top-notch jokery.
Capital punishment.
On your feet.
Yeah. So Ian's good start again. He's heading up. No words. Come on, Ian. You can do it.
Maybe you can answer this question for me, Dan. What is that thing in the top right there, the audio bar that's going up?
Ian's face.
No, next to Ian's face.
Right, I can tell you what that is. Basically,
I'm distracting.
while I was putting Paz in the Chico in the helicopter, he dropped an audio tape.
Yeah.
And if you listen to that tape, there's like little audio clues.
Yeah.
That
About
you follow to work out where Paz is being held, which is this area that we're into now.
I also wanted to say, I forgot to say when we were talking about the question of value. Now, there's a couple of issues around this. One is that when you finish this game, the people you rescue and slam away into your helicopter and sort of take as hostages, they will appear when you play Metal Gear Solid 5 in a year or something. Now, if it's anything like Peace Walker was, the PSP Metal Gear game, when you take hostages, they went to work in your mother base. The more people you had, the more resources you'd have. So if you sort of content mine this game for every single hostage thing you can find, you will start Metal Gear Solid 5 with a much more advantageous situation, and that might be like more ammo, more weapons, more equipment, that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So there's there is a tangible benefit down the line. Now what's even more tantalising is apparently some of the decisions you make in Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes will have a big effect on certain elements of the plot. They're not saying anything about it, it's kind of a hidden element.
Right.
But there is going to be a pull-through effect for the final game.
Do you think that'll be like karma-based stuff, like good and bad, or more like if certain characters appear in certain scenes and that kind of thing?
I don't know, because it does seem like, in terms of the key plot events, it seems like you're making quite linear choices. In terms of the people you extract, oh yeah, that's got to get off.
He's gone to sleep though.
He has gone to sleep. I think I forgot to call the helicopter as well.
Is that the best LZ? What are you feeling for this time at the moment?
Not good.
6?
I'm going to keep going because we'll still be
It'll at least give you a benchmark.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dan, you were saying about you're not sure.
No, I basically, because I feel like the key, you sort of seem to rescue certain people in a certain order, and that seems set. I think there's a different way to choose that. But there might be like things hidden within the missions and side ops that you may or may not do, people you can rescue, maybe the way you treat certain things that will affect the game finally. Like sometimes you finish missions and certain like objectives you get rated for are hidden with question marks. So is not telling you even what the objective is. You kind of got to stumble upon it. That's why I say it's a real purist, deep game. The more you play,
and the more people you rescue, as a nice touch on when you're sitting in your chopper on the title screen, you get to see those people that you've rescued behind you, sitting there with you. So if you do rescue certain people, you can see them sitting in the chopper with you. A lot of people giving you a lot of encouragement now. Troth, they really want you to do well here.
This is going to be a decent time. It's not going to be a clean run. It's not going to be an S run.
Okay, fine. Lambert Bunny says it's a nice change of pace from GTA. This we will go back to GTA at some point. And if you are a member of our social club crews, we have got PSN Madman on the social club now is taking a lot of control of inviting people into the crews and stuff and sorting all that out. And I think there is in fact a crew event tonight at 7 PM.
Brilliant.
So if you are part of those crews, make sure you get on there, go and do one of the crew events and join in with the rest of the community.
Well, the best way to be updated, I guess, is through the classic social club channels. Steve Stacey's, the PSN Madman. If he gets in touch with, if he tweets at the GTA 5 o'clock account, we'll retweet it later on to promote as well. So
Matthew Linsky says, "Hey guys, 2 hours of Metal Gear Ground Zeroes is a lot better than playing a game at full price that's so overrated and so overhyped. The MGS franchise is one of the best in gaming history." So he's on board.
A man after my own heart.
That's right.
Oh, A rank, Ian.
So
time. What's your time?
5 minutes 52.
Hey, that's pretty good.
That's strong, isn't it?
Not
5
bad.
minutes 52.
Not bad. It was a bit scrappy, that
It was
one,
an A
because,
rank.
Yeah.
So should we give him one more go, Dan, and then move on?
Final go.
Final
As we say,
go,
it'll be another
see how we
6
go on.
minutes, and then we're going to begin the plot Q&A.
Okay.
Shortly after 3:45 GMT.
And then after that, that'll last about 20 minutes, half an hour, depending on how long we get
see how we
through.
go. Now the questions go, yeah.
And then we'll be playing some Infamous Second Son, so you'll be able to experience a bit of Infamous. We might even give Dan a go at that one, and that'll prove frustrating and be great fun for everyone. Because Dan's great at games.
Just desperately trying to skip all the spoilery cutscenes that are coming up now, because there's no other way of getting past them. But
a lot of questions still about Ground Zeroes and
go
the
on.
price and it being bundled with the Phantom Pain and all of that. Dan answered that earlier at the beginning of the stream. If you missed it, in summary, we're not sure. There's a lot of different elements to it, but this stream will be on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/CVG, straight after we finish streaming, and you'll be able to go back and listen to all of the answers there. But essentially, it's the answer.
Any word from Twitch folk?
Twitch folk, is it possible to put the game volume down? Is Twitch folk?
I don't know, is it?
Probably. I'm not sure.
Definitely in options you can, can't you?
Yeah, you can pull it down a bit. That's just
Yeah,
because they can't hear what you're saying, I think.
Okay.
So really sorry about that. It's difficult. We're juggling between multiple menus because we're live streaming on Twitch.
This is also an interesting...
Oh, that's
And on
because it's
YouTube.
cutscenes, yeah.
That was a nice place to
Yeah,
have
little
that.
placeholders, quite good that.
Yeah.
So have you done that? Or do it in
I'm
options?
just so is it share options?
No, it'll be in just options, I think.
In options in the
The
game.
actual
I thought.
game.
Oh,
Just
I
turn
see.
the game audio
okay,
down.
right, yeah, I'll do that.
So that's fine.
Thanks for reminding us there.
Jex 8-bit says the story influences sound cool, and they could hurt or help your story possibly. So now you finished the
I've got a feeling there aren't any volume options in the game,
amazing.
which is only because I was having some problem capturing it.
And you tried to look for
And,
some.
yeah, there doesn't seem to be any sound options,
Not
unfortunately.
even in the cassettes or anything.
No, that's where you can just listen back to the stuff we've already got. So
If anyone's playing Ground Zeroes, can we affect the volume? Unbelievable.
Well, that's a little extra thing. Okay,
yeah.
well, you carry on. The people
Right.
on YouTube can hear it. If you're having problems hearing it on Twitch, you can switch over to the YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/CVG.
yeah, I was going to say the other thing is the Twitch is obviously coming out of that camera over
Yeah.
there rather than our
Yeah.
main microphone.
I think
so
it's
that might be why it's
yeah,
a
and I
combination
think
of that and
that's true. So yeah, if you're having problems, jump over there, check it out. We'll try and have a little look at it for Infamous before we start streaming that in about half an hour. Hopefully everything will be fixed
Yeah.
by then.
And you can pop onto the main Computer and Video Games website. There's should be a quite visible story there with links out to the different, the YouTube stream. and hopefully the Twitch stream. So hopefully you can navigate that way. If not, look on the @CVG_news_ or @CVG_news Twitter account for more links. And James is, as we speak, scooting through to check. Okay, now Ian's going to go for one more speed run. He's trying to beat 5 minutes and 52.
I was scooting somewhere else, Dan, while this is taking place, because in the comments, Slayer7744 Gaming says Ubisoft has just announced a teaser for Assassin's Creed Unity, which I couldn't believe. But actually, it's right, they have.
Yeah, well, we know why they have, because once again, somebody's announced their video game for them. Earlier this week, leaked shots came out of Unity, which I think is, there's going to be 2 versions of Assassin's Creed this year, they're saying.
Yeah.
One is a next gen only, one is a current gen. And from the leaks, if they're to be believed, and in fact James can prove it by, well, I know, so he's looking at the thing as we speak, it's going to be set in 18th century Paris, I believe.
Yep, that was what it was, and I was very impressed with myself, because I was looking at the screenshots on a forum, I think it was NeoGAF or something, without reading the text, and I said to Dan, oh, that looks very, very 18th century Paris, that does. And then I looked at the text and it was like the game set in 18th century Paris. I was like, wow, I know my architecture.
Some eyes and brain right there.
Yeah, the Ubisoft thing starts with next gen starts here, and then it goes into some very nice.
We're watching it live with you.
Well, they're not watching it.
Well, like you're not, but we are.
Oh, yeah.
So we're watching that in the background. Is to not distract Ian from doing his speed run. They are some beautiful environments, but
very
they are
nice.
definitely empty environments.
But there's a certain look to Assassin's Creed games, and I think that's developed, and it looks very Assassin's-y. I don't really know what that look is, but you can just sort of tell.
It's got a sort of the feeling that the game's almost been drawn on papyrus or something. It's got that's an incredible large bit of scenery.
It's gone.
It's
gone while that was happening.
Oh dear.
With this speedrun route, a lot of it seems to be down to luck in certain sections, whether you actually get spotted or not. And this little running past the bit on the cliff edge there, sometimes you get spotted, sometimes you don't. That time I did get spotted.
Well, okay. I think we should probably tap the lid on it there and say Ian's managed to get 5 minutes and 52 seconds.
Yeah, like those.
Yeah.
That's a good marker to lay down. If you can beat it, do let us know on the YouTube channel. Share your videos. I think I will attempt to answer some of your questions. So if you're watching on Twitch or on YouTube and have questions about anything to do with Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes or Metal Gear Solid 5, I will attempt to answer them. If we don't get any questions straight away, I will put forward some theories based on questions I've been asked on Twitter. I don't know if it's possible to get my face on the camera.
It would be. Just switch seats.
I'm going to switch seats. That was weirdly hard to say.
Yeah.
And maybe Ian could play something fun in the background so as I'm to watch Snake have a ciggy. Alright.
Yes.
That's a little bit of my head.
I don't think it goes down any further.
I'll have to put a pillow under my bum to sit higher. We have actually got a pillow.
I'll try.
Oh no! Oh, why's that happening?
Sorry about that. Ian's knocked the camera.
Oh, I see. It's only balanced on.
Hello. That's good.
There we go. It's good, but
No, you just stand there, and everything will be
It
fine.
involves me keeping my finger on top of it for the next.
So we'll do some of the side missions while you're answering questions.
Yeah.
Dan.
So you can show off maybe one or two of the side ops, which you get when you finish it, which we should have unlocked. Is that right?
No, because Trove didn't finish it, did you? Have you finished it?
No. Oh yeah, I did finish it. Yeah, they are there.
They are there.
Yes. There we go.
Yes, perfect. And then
There's
you can see
Dan.
me.
Okay.
Now,
so this one's fun.
Does Ian want to play?
Shall I?
Or
come-
James reads out questions.
Ian can play if he's got time to play.
Yeah, go on.
So how are we doing for questions? Anybody come in live? I'll try to do them first.
Well, okay. Just to quickly clear a few things up. Assassin's Creed Unity, everyone is talking about now. If you haven't seen that trailer yet, it will be on our YouTube channel. You can have a look at it right now on youtube.com/CVG. It's probably not going to be called Assassin's Creed Unity, no. As William Medhurst says, are Unity and Comet the confirmed names for the two games, or are they just code names? I imagine there'll be code names. Assassin's Creed Unity doesn't really work. I imagine it will be called something like Assassin's Creed Renaissance or something along those lines.
Yeah, you would think so.
So yes, people are saying French Revolution or earlier. well, it's 18th century, so it'd probably be around the French Revolution, I imagine. That's when a lot of assassinations would be taking place. That's good. A lot of people trope for saying, how about hard mode? Just throwing that out there.
Apparently the route that we've got works exactly the same on hard mode as well, so
Okay.
that is doable. Linked in from, because apparently we can't seem to find a leaderboard in the
Right.
game for normal, but on hard mode somebody has already logged a time of about 4 minutes on the hard leaderboard, which seems
Okay.
madness.
A couple of
Madness.
people are joining us over from Twitch, so welcome to YouTube if you're joining us from over there.
Any questions yet?
I'm just getting there, Dan. Hang on.
Okay, don't worry if it's not, because I can press on.
Okay, I'd like your opinion on this then.
Yeah.
Matthew Linsky says, reflex mode is cheap in my opinion. It takes away from the real stealth gameplay. It's a good thing you can take it off. What is your opinion?
My opinion is, I think reflex mode is a welcome addition to the game that encourages newcomers to the series. And if you really don't like it, you can switch it off. That's completely your option. And in fact, the game, like so many other metrics, rewards you for switching it off. So expert players get to feel good about themselves for not playing with it, and that is the purist approach. But if you are, I mean, even me, I love the series and I played all the series. I welcome it. I think it's a really convenient get out, and it does take away that really annoying feeling of being spotted and instantly tripping an alert, then either having to run to flee or to hide in a locker, and that's very infuriating because that's not entirely where the fun is, that masochistic side in Metal Gear. So I think for me, it's a really welcome addition. If they forced you to use it, it's more contentious. They absolutely don't, and they do reward you if you don't. So I would say it's only a nice concession to the modern world and kind of what people expect.
Okay. Troth, Jackar 1991 is giving you hints saying to press R1 when you're aiming. He just wants to see the, I guess that's the first person aim mode,
Oh, okay.
which you
There
can
we
see
go.
that does that, so that helps you get a bit more accuracy on your headshots. He's giving you some other hints.
Oh, yes, good.
But we've stopped doing the speedrun now.
Okay.
So you can save prisoner 2 first, he says,
Okay.
to get a better score.
Yeah, that might speed things up.
Yeah, so there's some hints for you to try over the
okay.
weekend.
Yeah.
Dan, another question for you is, do you think MGS 5 will come to PC since now it's become multi-platform with the help of the Fox engine?
Yeah, I put it one way. I think there's an intention on Kojima's part to make it on PC. There was a comment that I think was broadcast on PC Gamer where he did say he'd like to do that. Now, the entire point of Fox engine is its portability as an engine, which means that you can develop quite easily. Like we've seen here, you can make it for PS3, you can make it for PS4. It's quite scalable in terms of its texture and its detailing. It's what they're using to create Pro Evolution Soccer now. We're going to be seeing the first next-gen Pro Evolution Soccer maybe this year, maybe the start of next year. So, I mean, that is the point of this engine. You know, could it work on PC? Absolutely, of course. I would have thought at some stage his intention is to bring it to PC. There is other things to throw into play, and I guess that is, we don't know exactly when the actual full-blown Metal Gear Solid 5 is going to come out. There might also be questions about, are the various next-gen platform holders going to compete to try and get some form of exclusivity with it? That's a situation worth looking at, and how that might affect a PC version conversely. I would expect there's no reason it can't come to PC, and I would sort of hope and expect it to at some stage.
Okay, well, I think that's all the questions we've got from the people watching right now.
Okay,
if you've got any more, guys, put them in the comments and I will note them down and pass them to Dan as we watch Troth play this mission. And what are you actually doing here, Troth?
I'm just having a little sneak around. I've just picked the lock of the armory.
Right.
So I've just picked up a sort of rocket launcher type gadget there. And that little white arc that was on the screen before meant that a guard had sort of seen me but wasn't quite sure. Okay. So I think they're probably sniffing around somewhere nearby to investigate at the moment. But
so you're just having a bit of a mess around.
So, yeah, okay. Basically.
Right,
while Ian messes around, I can answer some of the Twitter questions.
Go for it.
Which is good. The most prominent question or form of it, this was expressed by Matt Dawson, and he says, who do you think Skullface really is now you've played Ground Zeroes and you've got a bit more exposition? Now, Skullface, anyone who's played the game or not played the game will have an idea who Skullface is. He's the guy in the trailer who's obviously got no face. He has a skull for a face. Now, he's described in one of the first trailers, like a little bit of text pops up to describe him. He's described as a ghost without a past. Now, the interesting thing is when you play Ground Zeroes and you unlock the audio tapes is you realise that's a lie. He does have a past. And he outlines his past in a 7-minute audio tape.
Right.
Now, this will be spoilers if you don't want to hear it, but this is some background to who Skullface is or who he was. Skullface refers to growing up in a village where they had was it called a rapeseed oil field, and his family, so he's obviously describing, he's talking about his parents, he must have been a young kid when this happened. He talks about his parents working at a factory, right? Now at that factory, which might have been the rapeseed oil factory, what they were really doing was fixing weapons for a local militia force, right? So you're aware that he's living in some country that's at war or is being oppressed. Now he says that one day aircraft came droning in from some far off sky and bombed the rapeseed field. Now he then describes trying to escape the factory, getting trapped in by the volume of people, and then basically being burned in the crushing heat. He describes it as hot, so hot. Wow. And then he talks about the fumes of people burning around him, filling his lungs. It's a really horrible description, and then essentially says that the next thing he describes is being taken to an infirmary, and he says one of the nurses remarked, as if it was the most natural thing in the world, "Oh, the poor thing, they should put him out of his misery." Now he talks about, then he says that those were the last words of his mother tongue he ever heard.
Wow.
So there's an implication that he had a birth language that he's forgotten or had taken away from him in terms of how to speak. Now he goes on to that to say, after that he was burned and tortured again at foreign hands. So he is, even after suffering these extreme burns, he talks about being doused in rapeseed oil, so it clearly burnt all his flesh off, leaving him with a skull for a face. He talks about then that, you know, he lost his language, he lost his nation, he lost everything apart from the pain, essentially, of existence. He says that all that keeps him going, despite this indescribable agony, is this sense of if he dies, everything his people and his nation and his country stood for will be swept away. And this plays into a key theme of all the Metal Gear Solid games, of like Gene, Meme, Scene. Every game's had a different theme, and they're all about what different generations lead to the next. So you've got to look at Skullface as a character with a will to pass on something of his background to another generation. Now, there's all sorts of other things at play involved here. A lot of people are asking, like, does this mean Skullface is someone who's existed in Metal Gear Solid previously? Now, it's possible. There's a couple of other clues about who Skullface is hidden within the audio diaries, and there are some, like we said, some quite shocking audio diaries that Chico leaves, the little boy who's left in a cage, and they're like torture diaries. And during these torture diaries, there's some clues. Now, there's a conversation where Skullface interrogates Paz, and it's quite clear, and he says it explicitly, like, you and I used to be colleagues until your betrayal. So clearly Paz has some background link up with Skullface. He also says something, secret agents like you or I would obviously respond this way. So again, were they secret agents who work together? Now again, Paz's background is that she was essentially raised as an orphan by Cypher or Major Zero, and that's the organisation that is the Patriots in Metal Gear Solid. Now, trying to describe the Patriots now would take me into next week, but essentially they're like the organisation, the hidden organisation that control the world in Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid 4. By the end of Metal Gear Solid 4, it's run entirely by big AI cores, like these big artificial intelligence machines, like the internet, that control the entire world like a sort of resetting algorithm. And Big Boss in the world represents chaos and free will. The Patriots represent control and oppression. So these are the two forces at play within the Metal Gear Solid universe. And you could essentially look at everything that happens in Metal Gear Solid. It's about the interplay between these two parties. It's about what people leave behind, their ability to choose their own fates and their own destinies. So obviously Skullface talks a lot about, he says, I had no choice, I had no freedom, all these things were taken away from me. And when he's quizzing Paz, he tries to break Paz and Chico by playing them off against each other and doing some really sick things. That's how he gets Chico to confess the location of Mother Base. That's how he gets him to betray Big Boss. It's how Paz ends up with a bomb inside her. Now, another question is, this is all again spoilers, does Paz willingly accept the insertion of a bomb and or bombs?
I was going to say, do you think Paz is possibly being a double agent for some of it then, if she's had a past with Skullface and obviously is aligned to Big Boss as well?
There's extensive Paz diaries in Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes taken from Peace Walker, in which Paz outlines her time on Mother Base, where she's taken on board, and she's essentially at that time operating purely as a Cypher/Zero agent for the Patriots, and talks about being disgusted by the activities of the people on the Mother Base. They don't know, my loyalties are with Cypher, I'm here to betray them, they're all going to pay the ultimate price. But as these diaries go on, there's a story about how their little acts of humanity start to win her round, and suddenly she's finding herself aligned with, certainly with Chico, which she has feelings for, and a sort of strange allegiance for Big Boss, despite also being disgusted by him. There is an allegiance there. Now, this is a long monologue, isn't it? I told you it would really get going. It's possible that I think she goes in meaning to support Cypher. After Skullface has retrieved her and got her, he's clearly also worked with Cypher, but he's against Cypher now, it seems. He's also, in the full machinations of the audio diaries, it becomes clear that Skullface, yes, he knows Big Boss from the past, yes, he knows Zero because he used to be part of the Patriots, it sounds like, but he wants both of them killed. He wants Big Boss killed, and he wants Cypher killed. So it's almost like saying, he almost represents an anarchist element between the control, the Patriots, the SOP of Zero, and between the free will and Outer Haven, and sort of, that sense from those two parties. It represents almost like a third way. It's worth noting as well that in the game, he's set up as almost like an analogue to the narrative of Big Boss or Kaz, because he's from a village that's burnt down, he loses everything, he loses his body, he's consumed by revenge. If you watch these trailers, there's scenes where Kaz Miller, furious, describes the body he's lost, the loss of Mother Base, only revenge keeps him going, and then Big Boss goes, we're already a demon, what are we going to do further? And I'm not quite sure how they're setting up the Skullface character to parallel with the choices Big Boss will make. There's all further things about whether could he be Ramon Galvez or Zardanov from MGS Peace Walker? Could he be a character that only Hideo Kojima could name called Hot Cold Man? Which is incredible. Could he be, there's some evidence to suggest he shares facial recognition with Psycho Mantis.
Alright.
Psycho Mantis, obviously from Metal Gear Solid, the guy that can control minds, he's quite mysterious. He's actually born in the early 70s, so technically there's no way it could be him. But there was an official figure of Psycho Mantis released in sort of 2000s, where if you take his helmet off, his face is almost exactly the same as Skullface's, and he shares the distinctive Chelsea smile scar along his mouth. Something about the timeline says that doesn't compute and doesn't make any sense. A further theory says, could he be Psycho Mantis' father? Now this sounds mad, again, like a lot of stuff in Metal Gear Solid, but it is because in lore, Psycho Mantis as a child burns down his village, burning and killing everyone inside.
Right.
Because essentially when Psycho Mantis is born, his mother dies during childbirth, right? Now, his dad comes to resent the child because of these events, and it's not Psycho Mantis' fault. The father clearly has these thoughts. Because Psycho Mantis can read minds, he reads his father's thoughts for him, and gets so angry it causes these psychic ripples that burns the village down. Again, that feels weird, but another link is that when we see the Phantom Pain trailer, there is very clearly a childlike figure in it, and this is 1984 now, so this is 12 years on-ish. We see like a child with a gas mask who looks exactly like Psycho Mantis. And given the very surreal nature of the Phantom Pain trailer with burn, and again, the flames are the key link. You've got to think born in flames, the flames, this is the key identifier. Is this something to do with Skullface? You know, you see him project, there's the Moby Dick whale, there's the images of Volgin, there's the horse, there's all these things that can't really be happening to Big Boss, or can they? And it could all be projected from Psycho Mantis. And in the very final scene of the Phantom Pain trailer, as it sort of pans in on Big Boss with his thing over his eye and they shine a light in his eyes, you can see Psycho Mantis' feet drift up to the ceiling. So there's clearly something going on with Psycho Mantis, and whether it's linked to Skullface, the flames are clearly a key theme and signifier.
Interesting.
That's me barely started, but I know that's a long monologue. So
yeah, just quickly, DL551. This is on PS4 that we are streaming this on. Lambent Bunny wants to say that the graphics are wonderful, and Brent Z is glad that he's got new games coming out for his PS4. This is one of them. So yeah, if you like this, go and buy it.
I imagine nobody has got anything to say about what I've said. This is simply too
Matthew James queried whether you would like to entertain the fact that Skullface is Ocelot.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility that some have mentioned. Ocelot, again, he's merely a triple agent in the Metal Gear universe.
Yeah, that's all.
Confusing. Who works with Cypher and the Patriots, but only because he is ultimately loyal to Big Boss. Yes, it's only that confusing. He's been glimpsed. He definitely is in Metal Gear Solid 5. Now, you know, essentially it's all about separating out who the villains are or aren't in Metal Gear Solid 5. The good guys, even though it's likely they go mad and become the bad guys, are kind of Big Boss and Kaz Miller and Militaire Sans Frontières, who set about to Haven, right out of heaven. Then there's Zero and the Patriots, who are like probably the proper villains, the ones who just want control. There's whatever Skullface is doing in the XOF unit. And then there's Ocelot, who's kind of, I think, between the parties, probably playing them off against each other for some ultimate goal. Now, Ocelot has disguised himself so many times, including like a famous thing in Metal Gear Solid 2, where he even like grafts Liquid Snake's arm onto his body to assume his identity. It's that level of madness. So, you know, it wouldn't be beyond the realms that Ocelot could be Skullface, but it would be very convoluted, and it could just be a mask. Like, you know, I don't know. It's a bit of an unknowable. Similar people have put forward theories saying it could be Decoy Octopus, who's like a figure in the lore, and he's famous for disguising himself.
Right.
It's plausible because of the disguise element, but again, it's a curveball.
Alright, well, for those asking when Second Son is starting, I'm going to say it's going to start in a few minutes. So Dan, I think if you can pick out another 1 or 2 questions to answer relatively quickly, we'll get through them. And relatively quickly, I said, that's the key point there. And then we'll move on to some infamous graphics.
Okay, one other revelation from Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes you get when you play it through and listen to the audio diaries is that whilst we all think Paz is the person who betrays Big Boss, hence the attack on Mother Base and it's burnt to the ground, it's revealed there is definitely a second Cypher informant on Mother Base. Now, the trail of blame essentially leads to Huey, who is the scientist who wants sort of world peace through nuclear deterrence, and he is the father of Oticon from the later games. Now, Huey, as it transpires, he's the one who, after Big Boss says don't let the inspectors come into the base, he says to them, actually I want you to come, and then alerts the media so Big Boss can't back out. And it's explicitly stated by Skullface about the scientist being one of their routes in.
I see.
But it's further complicated by the fact that Amanda, who is Chico's sister, goes missing from Mother Base during the inspection. Could she be part of it? Dr. Strangelove, who's the French scientist who creates the AI cores in Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, is also allowed off the base by Kaz Miller. And we know from Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker that Kaz Miller has a business arrangement with Cypher where he... Yes. James's brain is melting.
My brains might explode, honestly.
Kaz Miller has a business arrangement with Cypher, and it's unclear who his true loyalties lie with. It probably is with Big Boss, and he says he used Cypher to get what he needed to build Mother Base, but there's still question marks about who the other informant is. I think it's probably Huey, and that would explain why there's a glimpse in one of the trailers of Huey being tortured by what looks like a general who could be Kaz Miller, who looks a bit like Kaz Miller, so we'll see.
Okay.
I've got one other thing to go through.
One other thing, and then we should look at some Second Son.
Yeah, some Second Son. This is largely about Big Boss and how he knows Skullface. Right now, given that he says, Skullface says during an interrogation tape, "Me and your boss go way back." Right now, Big Boss is born in 1935. The events of these conversations in 1974, so you've only got like a 40-year period where it could be set. It's unlikely they knew each other as babies. That's weird. So it could be Big Boss's history is he's born in 1935. As a teenager, he takes part in the Korean War in the 1950s. From the description that Skullface gives of seeing his parents and his family, it could be about the right time period to be the Korean War.
Yeah.
It's also possible because Big Boss takes part in the Vietnam War, the early stages of the Vietnam War in 1961. Vietnam-Korea ties up quite neatly with the idea of one nation working to supply militia arms to protect themselves against a superior might who've got bombers, which could be like the US or something like that. We do talk about the burning being from rapeseed oil, but again, napalm, the use of napalm was big in the Vietnam War and very contentious.
Massive, yeah.
So they seem like possible themes. So you could go and research that period in Metal Gear history and say, is he someone Big Boss interacted with at that time? That's it, James. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
I could talk for another 17 hours about Metal Gear Solid, but I might save that, and we're hoping at some stage to get a Metal Gear Solid 5 o'clock off the ground.
Yeah,
or something of that line.
It won't be called that.
No, won't it? I'd like it to be. Maybe it won't be.
I don't think it will.
Yeah, it probably won't be.
Although it does work because it's 5, isn't it?
Yeah, see?
Oh, God damn it.
We'll see. But anyway, that's the intention. If you'd like more of that kind of level of knowledge and musing, let us know. There's so much more to talk about. It's rich, it's fascinating. That didn't make a lot of sense to newcomers. I would explain it in a way that it would.
Yes. I like Slayer7744 Gaming says, it all sounds so interesting but confusing at the same time.
Yes, it is.
That is hit the nail on the head there.
It's the best, most complex gaming universe there is, I think, by a mile. Kojima is talking about the most prescient affairs of the modern age through his games, and I think his stuff's underrated. I think Metal Gear Solid 2 is an absolutely bravura, postmodern masterwork about the nature of surveillance society, the internet, the nature of the console war. It's incredible, and there's a fantastic video I'd recommend you to by a chap called Super Bunny Hop, The Critical Distance, who did like a postmodern deconstruction of Metal Gear Solid 2. It's almost like a university essay, but it's so brilliantly done. It's brilliant. I couldn't do it better. Check that out, and then we can meet in a place of agreement. Let's play some Second Son.
Okay, fine. Troph, have you done?
Yeah,
You're done messing around? All right, fine. That's enough of that. So, yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, stay right here, and we should be able to just swap the games straight over. If you're watching on Twitch, I think you'll get a little screen that will just come up with the PlayStation symbol for a little while the game loads. But hopefully it shouldn't be longer than a few minutes, and it won't be as disastrous as last week when all our capture stuff blew up. So I think, Trove, we'll just eject the disc, right?
Yeah, go for it.
Press the right button.
There we go.
Alright, so
My face gone, that's good.
your face is gone. Oh, okay, so it stopped the Twitch broadcast.
Yeah.
Alright, well, we'll just start that up again. But for everyone watching on YouTube, thanks for sticking with us. We'll whack in the old Infamous now and load up a bit of that action.
Do you want me to try and rejig your camera before I go?
rejig the camera.
Or are you going to stay there, Dan?
I'll move. I can't look at my face anymore. And
well, I'll go over there then.
I desperately need a drink.
And you can sit here and read the comments.
Yeah, let's
out
do that.
and-
Let's
and
do that.
Do that kind of stuff.
That's interesting. A nice comment there saying on the YouTube, they're saying you should do Dark Souls 2 o'clock. Well, we do a regular Dark Souls 2, not a 2 o'clock, but we do Dark Souls 2 consistent coverage, and that's going to be every Thursday on the Computer and Video Games homepage via Twitch. Tamor plays that every Thursday 6 PM. Do look out for it. We'll be advertising it a lot more solidly. That is where you go to for your Dark Souls coverage. Matthew James says MGS 5 o'clock, just do it. Ace Bomber says, I'm kind of new to your channel, but I love GTA 5 o'clock. If you can tell me when the new one's coming out. GTA 5 o'clock, the clue was in the title. It's at 5 o'clock. Well, it wasn't called GTA 5 o'clock on a Wednesday o'clock.
No.
But it's every Wednesday at 5 PM for GTA 5 o'clock. It's still going. It's still popular. Whilst Rockstar have had very little to say, there's still a lot to talk about. And I think we are probably only weeks or months away from something significant in the GTA universe. We know there's single player content to be released. There's no doubt big updates to online. There's next gen versions to talk about. Probably there's almost certainly a PC version. I would say, given that the initial speculation was that would GTA be out before the end of their fiscal year, which is like April the 1st or April the 31st. They haven't talked about it now. It does mean the game might be further back. I wouldn't rule out some significant announcements at E3 now, as regards GTA.
Rockstar at E3? Really?
Well, not at E3 like in the traditional sense, but someone might be on a stage talking about GTA 5.
Or like before, I guess, a week before E3 or something.
However they do it. Are we live now, James?
Yeah, this is it.
We've got Infamous Second Son.
We're there. This is Infamous. If you'd like to see anything in Infamous, let us know. We're going to try and stay away from story spoilers. And just show you sort of the powers you get and just how good it looks. And so if you are picking this up this week or this weekend, let us know. Let us know what kind of stuff you want to see and just what you think of the game, really. I'm going to go and do some stuff. Thank you very much, Mr. Trophy Ian.
Thank you, Ian.
We'll
Thank
see
you,
you
Ian.
soon.
See you later.
Wonderful. Okay, so you can see James Jarvis now, co-host of GTA 5 o'clock, and Friday Live Play Man with me, Dan Dawkins. That was the guy who was droning on about Metal Gear Solid with great purpose. We're going to show off a little bit of Infamous Second Son. Now, you can read the review of this on the main Computer and Video Games channel. We gave it a 7 out of 10. That is not entirely a criticism. There's a lot to admire about this game. The only failings, if that's the right word, are essentially in the character of the city and maybe the volume of things to do. Amazingly, like the problem with the previous game, certainly for me, was that the main character was kind of a douchebag, I thought. Particularly in the first game, it's quite hard to like yourself. And I always find that a very difficult motivation when I'm playing a video game. I like to like my own character. But I think they've really nailed that this time, and there's much more of a sense of like he's more likeable, he's more questioning, he's more fun, he's a bit more sort of Nathan Drake-y, in terms of his.
He's got a few quips and things, doesn't he?
Yeah, but essentially this game is as it always was. It's a bit of a graphics showcase, and the effects are absolutely incredible.
Yeah, now I'm just going to quickly jump in, Dan, and show you what we're doing here. This is one of the side missions. We're going to do a little bit of the side missions that won't affect the main story or anything. This is one of the secret cameras, and you have to activate the camera like this, and you should be able to see yourself in the camera. I'm just at the back there underneath that sign. And then you can put your phone away and move along, and then you press up again, and you can see yourself. There I am.
Yeah.
And you have to find where that camera is and destroy it, so it's obviously there. And then by destroying that, that's a light. See, it's tricked me. It's tricked me, Dan. It's higher up.
So obviously,
it's just up here somewhere. I'm out of range of it now. So it's a fun little mini game. You have to try and find the camera.
Okay, how many of these are there?
Oh, loads. There we
go. Yeah, you got
I
it.
Destroyed it by throwing a giant grenade. So you can go around and do all these kind of things. It just adds to the completion rate of the game. I've hurt this guy, so we should heal him, I think.
People are asking, is Infamous Second Son on PS3? No. These visuals are, I think, pretty clearly a step above what we're used to seeing on PS3. The things that really stand out are these particle effects. It's the smoke, it's the neon, it's the flames, it's the physics. If you want to see just like a shameless gallery of brilliant, infamous Second Son effects, and you're on the YouTube channel, we've got a video called like 10 amazing next-gen effects in Second Son. It's a 5-minute video, and you get to see like 10 of the coolest graphical bits. It's not really too spoilery, it's just showing off cool graphic stuff. So yeah, it's really worth checking out, and it was quite fun to research. So James, you're showing off here some of the different attack abilities for Delcy.
Yeah, this is one of some of his smoke powers. There's 4 different powers in the game. I won't go through them all because some of them you unlock quite late on in the game, but we probably will show you them all. This is the this is the smoke one. You get this quite early on in the game, and as the story progresses, you unlock more of them by finding different people who have different powers and draining them out. So you've got smoke, neon, and a couple of other ones.
People are asking, says, I've never finished Infamous 1 or 2, would you say Second Son is as long as previous titles? I've had people tell me that they think this is like a 7-ish hours game.
7-8 hours.
And there is like an incentive to replay, because like the previous games, you've got kind of a good path and a dark path.
Yeah, so you could do it twice and get different things. There's actually, on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CVD, there's an interactive that you can go on there, which will give you the choice, and you'll be able to see what happens when you choose the good or the bad paths.
Oh, nice.
So you can go on there and click and see what happens. It's from like one of the early choices, so not much of a spoiler.
Here's something for James. Can we adjust the game volume on this now? Because we couldn't on Metal Gear Solid. And it might make everyone on Twitch a lot happier because we've had problems.
Yes, we can.
Yes. People on Twitch, has that improved things? We're really sorry we didn't find the volume option on Metal Gear Solid. So as a result, when I talked at length about the conspiracy stuff, you probably just heard loud shooting and God knows
The
what.
thing to check now, though, Dan, would be the YouTube stream, which is the window behind you.
Yes.
And check the audio levels on that, because now you might not be able to hear the game.
Okay.
So the game one is the one at the very bottom.
This one?
Yeah. But the headphones there are plugged in to the thing, so you'll be able to see. I'll do some shooting, and you'll be able to see if you can hear them both.
The answer is not really.
Okay.
Hang on.
So if you drag up one, you should be able to get a bit more game audio in there.
How's that balance?
I don't know. How is it?
Pretty good.
Pretty good? Okay, excellent.
Okay, everyone on YouTube, let me know if I've tuned that too loud or too quiet.
So what I'm going to do now is one of these spray can mini things, which is weirdly, and I think something that's an interesting choice for the game. It's one of the first things you have to do in the game is do like a little spray painting mini game. Now, Dan, I know you very much enjoyed doing that when we made you do it. There's loads of these located around the city, and you can do different bits of artwork on the thing, and some of them are actually really nice. Some of them are on the PlayStation blog today.
The coolest bit about this is we can't really show you. I don't know if you can hold the pad up or something, James, when
I
you do
can
it.
do it. Which one should we choose?
Well, since there's the delay, we can't get people to choose
No,
for
we
us.
can't.
Do the baddie one, Rock'em Sock'em Icon.
Alright. So now, as you can see, it says hold sideways.
Yeah.
So you have to hold the controller like this, shake it.
Can you hear it?
And then it shakes like a spray can, and then you spray your little image on the thing. You have to do it a few times.
The sound comes out of the pad speaker, so it sounds like you're holding it. The sound's uncanny. It's like you're holding a spray can. You look at it and go, "No, I'm holding a pad, and it's slightly stupid." And like the amount of there's no precision involved here.
No.
You just spray over a stencil.
Painting it in
and you
the
do
light.
that a few times, and hey, you get the stuff behind. But it's a cute application of what the PS4 pad's unique at.
Yeah, and something that they do quite well in Second Son is use the onboard microphone and some of the touchpad stuff quite well. It's quite, you get a lot of the phone things coming through the speaker, and the ringtones and stuff come out the speaker. That spray can thing is something, down that I was slightly disappointed at, that Ground Zeroes didn't have any of it, because Metal Gear has always used all of the like really innovative things on like unplugging the controller, swapping memory cards around back in the day, and things like that. And there wasn't any of that in Ground Zeroes. I imagine they're saving a lot of the innovations for when Phantom Pain comes out.
Yeah, there's no overt fourth wall breaking stuff in Ground Zeroes, but there are lots of very cute touches. There's a bit where your character chokes out another character. And as you're pushing your arm against them, you can feel their pulse in the pad, like coming from their arm-to-arm contact. So it's full of like really good, like Kojima-isms, like really well observed stuff. But it's not like you say. There's nothing where it's like disconnect the pad and put it in another port or anything. Not yet. And
I imagine they'd be able to do a lot of stuff with the light bar and things like that.
Oh, there's a lot they can do, and like, given that Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes is a taster of the big full game that's supposed to be 200 times bigger, which is pretty astonishing.
Big, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot more to come then. A man called Tim Weaver says, "Ha." Now, Tim Weaver will be familiar.
Does that say it?
He does. That's Tim Weaver. Yeah, Tim Weaver will be familiar to you all as being the ex-host of GTA 5 O'Clock during last year, and Tim is now writing his wonderful books full time. And people have been in touch with me. You'll like this, Tim. People have been in touch with me to say they've bought your books on the strength of recommendations from the live streams.
Wow.
So, pint. Please.
Yeah, pints, multiple pints.
Pints, please. So, pints, please. So that's like papers, please.
It's the new one, the next one in the
Yeah,
series.
pints, please. Yeah, and Brent Z asks, I wonder how Phantom Pain will take advantage of the light bar and speaker in the PS4 controller.
Wow, it's like we're on the same page.
Yeah, it's like we were just talking. We're not sure, but yeah, that's pretty interesting.
I'm just doing a bit more spray can action here. If anyone would like to see some combat, I'm going to do that right after
Yeah,
this.
it'd be great to see some combat. On Twitch, Chaser4 says, should I get Infamous Second Son? We gave it 7 out of 10 on CVG. I've always found this game quite polarising. I think some people like absolutely adore it, and there's people who on Twitter, if I suggest this is anything less than brilliant, will come hunting for me. I've always felt it's like your quintessential 7 out of 10 game, where it's sort of more fun than you give it credit for, but at the same time lacks the sort of hallmarks of genius or design, or something doesn't quite add up with it. Now, I don't know, like, would you buy this now at full price, James, do you think?
It's tough. From reading and speaking to people, what they say, yeah, you're right. I think the game is slightly, it's lacking something. Like, I think the new patch that comes out on the day one adds some more people into the environments and makes it feel a bit more alive and stuff like that. But I think it seems from going from Los Santos in GTA coming to another almost open world environment, there's just something slightly different about it. It feels a bit more cold, really. But the missions are like what you'd expect. It doesn't do anything like astounding apart from looking incredible.
Yeah,
it does look really nice.
There's a wonderful sense of like solidity to the combat. When you whack people, it really feels great, and the feedback's good. All that stuff's really well observed, and when the game's flowing and you're flying between roof to roof and you're hovering, you're bursting, you do feel like a badass, like a superhero. That stuff's really great, but it's just something about sort of the emotion and the interaction and the city itself feeling almost like a sort of set for your activities rather than a real place. And even something like GTA 5 to an extent struggles to create true depth, and it's something that again that Watch Dogs is talking up, the idea of being a smaller city but it genuinely having depth and richness of interaction. We'll see how that pans out when the game actually comes out, but that is the vibe they're going for versus GTA. So again, this Infamous certainly isn't that. It's more about powers feeling cool, brilliant graphics. To everyone on Twitch who's watching, and if you're enjoying this, don't forget you can click the follow button at any time. That way you won't miss out on any future live streams from us. This is the CVG Bath crew, or the CVG London crew. We've got Timur, we've got Rob. They're playing every Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday at 6 PM. Tuesday they'll have like the big game of the week. Wednesday they'll do a theme, which could be like retro games or something like that. And then Thursday will be Timur playing Dark Souls, like people were asking about. And then we're going to carry on Friday playing different games. And that's it. And Looster7 says, Dan Dawkins, Barmy Army. Mental.
Is he part of that, or does he want to start
I don't
it?
know. I'm yet to start a Barmy Army, but
Is it something that you're interested in, Dan?
it's under advisement.
Okay, good.
Okay. Yeah, Jack Gillespie says Infamous is the ultimate average game.
Wow,
Everything is solid.
I think
nothing
that's
is top
harsh.
class.
I think it's better than average.
Interesting. Zorvane says, CVG, are you interested in GTA Online leaks? I love
always.
it.
Yeah, always.
I love leaks. So Zorvane, who's a member of the GTA 5 o'clock cruise and has appeared on live feeds, do leak away with facts.
Yes, specifically GTA facts that you've just promised. This is another thing, I'll chase this down, that you get in the game. I don't know where it's gone now. Good. Is another thing. Yeah, it is. You get these things flying around, sort of like drones, and you can shoot them down and get shards from them, which obviously builds your powers and things like that, and you just drain it out. As you said, the elemental effects are really nice, and the particles that you get to see, is they put a lot of effort into that.
Now where we are now, is this kind of like early in the game, like you've got relatively weaker powers?
No,
so
this is like middle of an evil playthrough.
Okay.
So we could jump in and do some stuff in the good playthrough a bit later, but the powers are essentially the same. You just get different upgrades and things, I think.
This is a good point from Slayer, who asks on YouTube. He says, the streets look empty, is this a flaw in the game? Well, like we say, there's a patch that sort of tried to add more people in, but it is a bit of an issue that it doesn't feel as populated as it could, and large sections of the game are weirdly empty. Now I was discussing this with a colleague on Edge magazine, and my defence was, let's be honest, if you lived in a city where a man who could use the power of smoke and neon was walking the streets, as at the same time the streets were patrolled by like ghastly masked soldiers, I'd probably stay in a lot. I don't know about you, but like, I wouldn't be out on the streets very often.
No, you're right, and especially not. I'd do what these people are doing. As soon as anything kicked off, I'd be running off straight back home.
Yeah.
And a lot of the city is like this. It's cordoned off to certain personnel and things, which allows them to make them slightly emptier. But yeah, hopefully the day one patch will add a lot more vehicles in. Although I think it is installed on this machine.
Okay, I'm just looking to see what the information is on GTA Online.
Right.
So speaking of leaks, look at the Examiner. The leaked new weapons are a fire axe and spray paint.
A fire axe? Oh, not like an axe on fire, like a fire.
Yeah, not a fiery
axe.
axe,
No,
but an axe.
Oh look, in they go in the
children's
play zone.
Just engulf it with flames. Why not?
Yeah, I'll fire some stuff, blow some stuff up. Can't blow up the children's play area.
Good, robust building. That's what we like to see. Safe.
A little thing to ride on. Nice.
Says all for GTA 5 Online and single player. Also North reacting with a chainsaw and a Kakano rifle. Don't know what a Kakano rifle is. It's amazing this. I feel like we've gone to live stream for an hour. During the hour we've live streamed, Ubisoft have announced the new Assassin's Creed game. All of the GTA stuff has leaked. Next thing you know, someone needs a news story. I'll be sent to this room.
Yeah, just come in here and chat for a bit.
Wonderful neon off this building. Really nice at night time. Drain it off.
Drain it all out. So what's happening, Dan, in GTA Land?
It says, Zorbane says, about a month ago, 6 vehicle names were leaked. Jester Alpha, Turismo Huntley, Zentomo Massacro. There's 3 of those made it in the latest DLC. The other 3 have a large possibility of coming next, which seems very, very logical.
So where did the weapon stuff come from? Are they just
I don't know if this is from the Examiner. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at it yet.
Okay.
Jack Gillespie says again, he says, I wish Sucker Punch designed Second Son who had some amazing physics-based powers. Imagine being able to control water and flood levels. That would be amazing. Keep hoping on that one, because Delsin Rowe can't even swim.
No.
Despite all his various powers, swimming isn't one of them.
That is an issue, isn't it? I mean, it used to work in Infamous 2, I think, when you had just electric powers, and they were like, you can't get in the water because you get electrocuted. That makes sense. That's sort of a reason to not go in the water. But when you haven't got them anymore, if you go in the water here, it just says you have to press the PlayStation touchpad to just return to the shore, and it just spawns you back on the shore somewhere.
Yeah, and Jack Gillespie says again, Jack Gillespie's doing a lot of talking. He says the neon effects are incredible. They are. Like, it's genuinely one of the standouts and one of the areas that PlayStation, like 4, I think sort of elevates itself a little bit above Xbox, is this subtlety of particles, where you look at Killzone. It's the first party stuff really. Like Killzone's best things were stuff like, apart from draw distance, it was things like, laser and particle effects, and things like flapping tarpaulins.
Yeah.
Amazingly. But I mean, I first saw that, I was like, wow, that's the next gen 10th physics right there.
Yeah, and the lighting in this is especially good.
Yeah. Okay. Say hi to everyone on Twitch. Hello to everyone on YouTube. Thanks for watching. This is James Jarvis from
Hello.
CVG, who's playing right now. I'm Dan Dawkins, off screen. You can watch this video retrospectively to see Mr. Trophy, he's called Ian Wilson, attempt to speedrun a world record speedrun on Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes, and to hear what I had to say about the plot of Metal Gear Solid 5 based on hidden stuff in Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes. That should all be available on the channel in more palatable formats soon.
Worth getting yourself a pad and a pen and a giant flowchart for Dan's analysis of the plot of MGS 5.
You need to be fairly ninja level to understand it, and it is kind of spoilery, but for people who are really up on that game, it should be some interesting lines of thought. Okay, so please keep your comments coming on Twitch. Don't forget you can follow us, and of course on YouTube you can also subscribe at any time by clicking the subscribe button. That's the mystery of it. You click subscribe to subscribe. Liking the video is also much appreciated. Thanks very much for all your support. Share it with your friends. We're going to be doing a lot more of this every Friday. As we say, we've got now Twitch live feeds Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday on CVG at 6 PM. Okay, now Feel says, is the enemy AI in Second Son good, or are the DUP completely retarded?
No, they're not. I'm making my way now to a DUP controlled area, in fact, so you'll be able to see how good they are. They're quite ruthless, actually. It doesn't take much to get you killed, as Dan will probably attest to when he was playing it, to do a lot of particle effect stuff. It's just like, yep, I'm doing it, I'm dead. So yeah, to go in these sort of restricted areas is a mistake, because as you can see, it doesn't take very long to get yourself in a lot of trouble.
It's worth noting that different powers obviously better against certain enemies, but it is possible to sort of beat anyone just by pure bludgeoning force, as James proves by dying.
Yeah.
Excuse my voice, I'm losing my throat. It's possible to sort of beat anyone by bludgeoning them, which sort of maybe makes it feel not as subtle as it could do. But you know, you are better using it strategic powers, because it can be quite tough facing off against a big DUP stronghold. Yeah. As James has just demonstrated. Ace Bomber says he's got to hop out, but thanks for reading my stuff and the leaks I provided. I'm trying to get hold of you, and I finally did. Love your channel. Thank you, my friend. It's very kind. Now, Ace Bomber's also saying amazing scenes. He says there'll be a new location in the game. Sounds like spoilers if you're ready to hear this.
Wait, hang on. For what?
For GTA Online.
I don't know if that can be classed as spoilers anymore.
Alright, he says Liberty City will feature, as Rockstar said earlier.
Nah.
You were going to visit different locations.
No.
It's making it up, you think, isn't it?
Well, no. I mean, obviously, we've discussed before that will hopefully become a thing at some point, and there are Liberty City remnants left over in the GTA 5 code, but you'd expect that maybe they based the initial version of GTA 5 on GTA 4 code and then tweaked that all stuff. If you're going to develop that way, that would make sense. So obviously Rockstar would love it to be one complete online world. Whether that's going to happen soon, I think before anything like that happens, we're probably going to want to see heists and things like that have been promised from the beginning.
You think so? Now, interesting comment from a guy called Tamor Hussein, who says, this looks like a solid 7 out of 10. Incredible powers of perception there. Definitely not a comment from the guy who may have reviewed this for CVG. I mean, like other people have said, I think literally on the stream, it does look a bit like a 7 out of 10. You do, you as a games journalist, whatever that means, you like to fancy yourself as developing some kind of score radar where you can see. This literally used to be said. I used to work with journalists who'd say, I could see a game within 2 minutes, tell you what the score was. Now, that's a slightly self-fulfilling prophecy, because you could then say, I think it's a 7, and then give it a 7, and you proved yourself right.
I am the best.
So there's no, it's not like an objective rating, but there is a whiff of, this is as quintessential as 7s come. Maybe it's like I don't know, it's like a sort of, this would appear in a dictionary, a visual dictionary reference.
Under the score 7 out of 10.
I mean, again, I don't think Sony will want to use that on the patch. the visual dictionary reference of a 7 out of 10.
No, I
but
don't think
it's there for you.
If they want it, are you giving them that?
I'm giving you that. You can take it off an audio stream. That's
yeah, I
not
mean,
something.
I could send it to them
God.
if they got in touch.
I don't want people to start using anything I've said on audio streams as pack quotes. That would be exceedingly bad.
But look at the draw. I mean, the draw distance is nice, and the lighting's lovely, and it is good. It's good looking.
I'll tell you an interesting and sad story from the olden days when I used to work on magazines. I used to work on a magazine called PSM3 magazine, which was a PlayStation magazine, like an independent magazine. We did a preview of a bike game whose name escapes me, and in the preview we said, this is good, blah blah blah, but you couldn't say it's the Gran Turismo of bikes.
Wow.
And do you know what the quote on the pack shot was?
I can imagine. Was it the Gran Turismo of bikes?
Yes, yes. They'd taken the quote completely out of context and said it was the Gran Turismo of bikes.
Hey, look what I
Absolutely astonishing. Look at that, wow. That's a little sucker punch nod to Sly Cooper.
Isn't it?
And the Thievis Raccoonus,
Yeah.
as I'm sure his friends enjoy calling him.
So there you go, Easter egg, I'm going to call that. First live play Easter egg for Infamous Second Son there. There was some really nice, as we mentioned, pictures that you can get from doing all that graffiti. The problem of going to find them is they disappear once you've done them, and they're not that fun to watch on a live stream of a man just spray painting a wall.
No, they're not the best.
But here's one that must have been done earlier.
Come on, get it seen.
There's a kid throwing a DUP guy off this building, which is nice.
Thank you, LolP1000. He says it's cool to see CPG live. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. Like, it's really genuinely appreciated. Some people are debating whether they think this game's worthwhile or not. A few people are saying, yeah, Bram Willemsen says Infamous Second Son is cool. It is. It's a good game. You know, like, I'm no one saying it isn't. Whether it belongs in the higher echelons. Hey, here's another idea. Maybe it doesn't care. Maybe things we play and like don't have to be 9 out of 10s. It's okay to like something that's
exactly, yeah,
only quite good. Like I like lots of things that are only quite good. And that's fine.
And we should probably overstate that 7 out of 10 is not a bad score.
No, it's good. It's definitely good. There's many things about 7 out of 10 that is good. Now Steve Stacey says, and this is PSN Madman, the manager of our social club crew, says, "Hey guys, this game looks incredible. Surprising as I'm not an Infamous fan. Like, no one is arguing visually. It's top notch. You know, it's really up there as one of the best looking next gen games. Almost by definition, one of the best looking games. Like, all I would say to sort of counter that is that maybe the actual art itself is not as beautiful as even something like when we looked at Metal Gear Solid earlier on. That's got a very consistent, solid art style. Maybe this isn't quite the same world, but definitely these effects are like fantastic." Okay, and then LolP1000 says to Steve, "The point is this game is actually pretty repetitive." And then just say, "I haven't played this one yet, but everyone knows that Infamous gets dull fast." Is that fair, James, based on what you've played?
I've only played, as I do another repetitive spray painting on the wall, I've only played the first opening couple of hours and then jumping in and out to do some of the videos that we've got on our YouTube channel. So I haven't done a lot of the mission stuff. I don't really know how repetitive it can be, but in an open world game like this, I mean, there's only a certain number of missions that you'd expect to be in there. There'll be follow this guy, kill this guy, track this guy, then kill him. You know, it's just the ones that you're used to from playing the other Infamous games and games like Assassin's Creed and even GTA. Like, they have the same sort of mission structure. It's not necessarily saying that's a bad thing. It's just that there are no sort of surprise missions when you're like, well, that's a bit new.
So I've not finished it. I played like a snapshot of a boss battle. I've played through a boss battle, and I'm not quite sure contextually where that arrives. I did think it was a little bit brute force, and it's just like a lot of chasing, and then you're sort of like trying to shoot someone who's very quick at moving. It didn't seem to be a lot more subtlety to it than that, and it was fine. Like, it wasn't too infuriating, but challenging enough. But they weren't, again, what I describe as like, well, nothing is like bravura boss battles like you get in MGS3, where every battle's completely unique and you need a completely new set of skills. It's nothing like that. But then again, probably Metal Gear Solid 3 sets the standard for what boss battles can be. Marcus T says he used to love Crackdown for the Orb collection. This reminds him of that a little bit.
There's a lot of collection things in this, definitely.
Christian Palmer says yes. Oh, harsh blow from someone who knows my football allegiances there. The Ken Tech says, referring to my earlier quote, I like a lot of things which are only quite good. And he says, obviously referring to Manchester United there, Dan.
Oh, poor Dan.
Yeah, I do, for my sins, like Manchester United Football Club. Even though we're only quite good. And by quite good I mean not as good as we were by a long stretch.
Almost, you could say, if the league was formed of 10 teams, a 7 out of 10.
Yes, you could say
You're
that.
about 7th at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah, 7th out of 20 actually, so
Yeah,
you extrapolate that
worse,
out. And
worse in fact.
it's more like sort of, I don't know, 3 out of 10. No, so I don't know anyway, whatever.
You've made Dan sad now.
Yeah,
whoever
okay.
said that.
Twitch people, hi. Please get commenting. We don't seem to have had many comments recently on Twitch. Please keep them coming. We haven't currently got logged into Twitch to text reply, but we are verbally replying, so do please keep it coming. YouTube guys, thanks for your questions, and apologies for my voice, which I'm losing. I seem to have developed some chest thing. Half out of tiredness, partly from germs, slight bit from sadness that I always get at the end of the week when I'm utterly exhausted. The neon sword looks amazing,
Doesn't
James. Like absolutely amazing.
It's good, that. So all the neon effects are actually really, really nice.
There's a complete sense that, you know, next gen or whatever, current gen, PS4, Xbox One, it's not even got started. And like all we've seen so far really are games that are kind of developed with a current gen mindset, often cross-platform. I know this game is, you know, PS4 only and it's exclusive. It does look a bit better than other games. It's still like got the legacy, I think, of old thinking. There's going to be stuff I think coming out from E3 onwards where we're going to look at PS4 and just be like, oh,
Yeah,
this
I
has
mean,
made a leap. you
I
know.
imagine the graphical and gameplay leaps. Well, I wouldn't expect you to be playing them for at least a year. Like realistically,
Yeah.
even the new Assassins thing that got announced today with that trailer is being cross-platform developed. Like that engine is scalable for both platforms. So it's going to take a year before people start exclusively developing for PS4 and Xbox One, and probably when that happens is when you'll start seeing a lot of engines that have been designed with the new generation in mind.
Yeah, and it raises an interesting point about Metal Gear Solid 5 that we were showing earlier on when we did the speedrun and I talked about the plot. Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes looks really, really good. It's solid, it's got a lovely art style, solid frame rate, great definition. But some are saying it's not as next gen as it could be, and that's because the PS3 version actually does a very good impression of it. Now in a year's time, or whenever Metal Gear Solid 5 the main game comes out, it'll be interesting to see if they sort of go, look, we're sort of leaving PS3 behind and just making MGS, 5 itself really next gen-y. I don't know is the question. It could be that, given that they're talking about porting all your data over, the game clearly is going to come out on PS3, and I think they probably have to bear that in mind. Who are these dudes you were fighting now, James? Because they're wearing like special suits and hats.
They're still the DUP. They're just a bit angry. I think
Who are the DUP? Why? What world is this where the DUP roam the streets?
they are. I can't remember their actual title. It's the Department of something. I think it's something to do with Conduit. Obviously,
Department Unit of Police.
I haven't played the story, so I'm not familiar with it totally, so I'm probably going to get this totally wrong. But I think it's something to do with having conduits on the street, of which Delson is one of them, obviously, because he's got superpowers and they don't like that. And obviously doing this save is from an evil playthrough, so everyone hates Delson at the moment because he's causing a lot of damage.
People are starting to talk on the comments about things they're really excited to see on next gen. Like I agree with a lot of these. Like Steve Stacey says, imagine like GTA 6 on PS4. I mean, yeah, wow. What's that going to be like? Also, wow, when the hell are we going to see GTA 6? Like, you think that on the last generation we had 2 GTAs, one at the start, one at the end.
Yeah.
Like, we're at least, and this is providing Rockstar even decide to release GTA in the way they did, and they don't just focus on online and various things, or a download or whatever, we're going to be like 3 to 4 years at minimum from another GTA.
Oh yeah, at least. Well, it took 5 years to do GTA 5,
and it's only going to be harder to make.
Yeah, and you have to, like Rockstar have said a lot. They always want to bite off more than they can chew, so they're going to have to go bigger and better than 5. And whether that means revisiting an old city like they did this time to go back to San Andreas, maybe they'll look at Vice City and see if they can do anything back in the 80s era, but then they've already covered that. So you think the only option now, if they're not going to do an old place, is to go somewhere new and start basically again. And if they have to start again and mapping all the city and doing everything like that, then you're waiting a long time.
Okay, now interesting comment from Timur Hussein. Timur, not only can he see a game is 7 out of 10 just by looking at it, he does say the DUP, who I described as the Department Unit Police, which is clearly not true and a joke. They're a government-sanctioned agency put in place to ensure conduits are captured and locked up.
Oh, it was close.
So conduits, I guess, would be like people like this who have the powers of neon, essentially.
Yeah, or smoke, or the other ones.
And not, and again, as we've proved in the Infamous universe, the power of swimming would be considered remarkable.
Yeah,
so
you can go in water.
Maybe there's pig pens full of swimmers, covered in butter in their swimming shorts, trapped, ready to be attacked by hooded men with the powers of concrete. It's not a very compelling pitch. It's not one I wrote or necessarily endorse. I'm just saying how it is. Timur System I won't read out because it could be a spoiler, but you can read it for yourself if you want. People talking about football, that's good. Jack Gillespie says he can't wait to see what Naughty Dog do with PS4. I mean, yeah, that is totally it, isn't it? Like, what do Naughty Dog do with PS4?
See, even the oh dear. See, that's it. This is all you. This is it.
Well, you float.
You float.
You turn to shore.
And you can't move, and you're just stuck.
That is absolutely Barney Rubble, isn't it?
But this, even the water effects, like the reflections in this, are really, really nice. And at night time, you can obviously imagine that all those lights light up quite well.
Wow,
there's not a day-night cycle in this game. You can't just stand on top of a building and wait.
There's like a polar shift from one to the other, isn't there, at a certain stage? But lots of good comments coming in. They're talking about Uncharted 4. We do know something of Uncharted 4 because there was a teaser trailer released by Naughty Dog like late last year. I can't even remember when now. Which had no footage whatsoever, but it was talking about, it sounded like a historical thing. It sounded like it was alluding to like Sir Francis Drake's past, pirates. So there was like a piratical theme or vibe to it, which made you think of possibly the last Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah, now I wonder if they had something in mind and would take a slightly different tact depending on how close it did align itself to the Assassin's sort of universe and stuff, because visually obviously they'd want it to make it look different than anything else. Like Uncharted games have always been set in really sort of nice, new, fresh environments, and if it's sort of pirates and the Caribbean again, it might feel a bit like you've been there before.
I like the theories that it's alluding to the past. The game will likely throw to a certain time period. Now, whether you sort of play dually as Sir Francis Drake and cut forward to actual modern Drake, and things you do in one timeline affect another, some sort of interplay or skip like the young Drake thing from 3.
Yeah.
That's a really nice touch. So I think that's something they could explore again. Bit of a sideline. Timur's back on and he says what he revealed isn't a spoiler earlier on. That was all said up front in the game. That's good. I didn't know what was and wasn't the spoiler, so having talked for about half an hour about Metal Gear, which is like a red hot spoiler volcano, I thought I'd try and stay away from it. Lol P1000 says, oh my god, I just realised multiplayer in Infamous would be so much fun. Something like GTA 5 Online with superpowers. We don't get that, do we?
There's no.
So yes, that would be fun. Hold that thought, because it's not happening. Mohammed Job says maybe in the next Infamous we'll be able to swim. I mean, this is like going back to like the early days of GTA.
Yeah.
To add swimming as a feature.
Things we want to do: ride bikes, swim in the sea, go to the gym, bulk up. Those are all things that everyone wanted in GTA.
Okay, now it's another interesting point from Zorvane. This is something we talked about on GTA 5 O'Clock, talking about how long it will take Rockstar to make the next GTA. Like myself and Tim last year went up to Rockstar North in Edinburgh, who've got a large, actually not hidden at all building right in the middle.
Well, they've just moved now, haven't they?
Yeah, but they've just moved, and what they did was they bought the building, like a showpiece building, a huge one. They used to be owned by the Scotsman newspaper and Scotsman Group, so there's a tale in itself about the passing of certain media, the passing of the baton, etc. But they've got this huge new bespoke building where they can house everyone. Now, previously, Rockstar North, it was a big building, but it had sort of a finite capacity, and I walked through the main floor. It was like a few hundred people probably all looking at GTA 5 at once. Maybe this new building allows more people to be in the same place at the same time, might allow like a more easy work pathway. It might be that previously GTA 5 was developed across Rockstar Studios around the world, like San Diego, North, all these different places. Maybe they can bring them into one place. So, you know, again, maybe there's a chance they can do it quicker, but I don't really see how you can shortcut building universes of that size. I just don't think there's any way, to be honest with you.
I'm going to try and ride the monorail down.
Or can you actually drive it?
No, I can jump on top of it though.
Dino Jaram,
Oh, no.
with a very uncompromising verdict on this game, says it looks like rhymes with Brad Pitt. I'm sorry. And yeah, someone's come on to confirm that the Assassin's Creed Unity trailer is now live, which we watched ourselves in a way you couldn't watch with us.
Yeah.
And beautiful scenes of 18th century Paris, culminating in a large view down to the city with lots of people standing around. So it did look really, really good.
I've not got on the monorail update. I've not got on it.
Couldn't reach it, or you think it's not achievable?
You can get on it. I've done it before, but something went a bit wrong, and I didn't make the jump.
Oh, and suddenly, out of nowhere, there's been loads of Twitch comments that I've missed.
Oh.
Yeah, people asking for Defender at 1904, asked for GTA in London.
Well, there was a GTA London, wasn't it? It's the top-down PS.
I don't think they could use that as a base model for next gen.
No. Well, they might be able to use the street mapping for it, like the general layout of the street and the grid system, which would maybe help a bit.
No, James, no.
Where's this? Oh, fine.
Oh,
well, we'll see.
Well, maybe they could. I mean, London's London, as no one ever said. And I think that it's interesting that we're getting to a stage with video games where so many different games and groups of developers are employing thousands of men or hundreds of men to go out onto the streets of various cities, photograph them and build them. And it gets to a stage where you go, how many times does a different group of people have to build London until we just say, look, here's the generic London 3D model, anyone's allowed to use it, you build your own game within it. And this is in fact something that the ex-PlayStation, well, the inventor of PlayStation, the father of PlayStation, Ken Kutaragi, gave a speech at the Tokyo Game Show a number of years ago, like something like 2007, I can't remember. But I attended, it was like the last time I went to TGS, and it was the maddest speech I've ever heard, because everyone went expecting to see Gran Turismo, and we just got this incredible, rambling, visionary speech about the future of the internet.
Uh-huh.
Now, one of his dreams was that at some stage in the future, in the same way we've got Google image search, there will be a online internet library of 3D worlds. And he almost said that maybe we could build it if people went out and photographed the world for the developers,
Right.
almost like a crowdsourced project. They could then use that as the basis for building games. It was a really interesting speech, and it seemed, completely sort of out there at the time. But looking at it, you can see the point he was getting at, in that, we can't just keep rebuilding worlds from scratch.
Yeah.
Like, why can't we just can't there be some third party in the world to go out and build a generic shareable model of Los Angeles for any developer to buy?
Well, that'd be nice.
Because it's
wouldn't it?
photorealistic. And when it's real, where do you go from that?
I drew a cat.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Cat looking at fishes in buckets.
Yeah, look like that.
Okay, Defender asks again, have you seen the topless female glitch in GTA?
Yes.
James says yes. Charlie Brown says, are you watching IGN? I don't know, we'll have to ask them.
So, Dan, last couple of questions, because we're getting to the end of this stream now. If there's anything else you'd like to see in Infamous, instead of me just going around and causing a lot of mayhem, please let us know now. This is your last chance. If you're watching on catch up, I hope you've enjoyed this stream. You can press the follow button on Twitch or the subscribe button on YouTube, and if you have liked any single second of it, please press the like button.
That is kind, and it maximises the chances of getting a like. It really is a great help for us. It's really nice to, an appreciation. It's just basically, it's great that you're tuning in and listening. It's genuinely appreciated. Lots of comments coming in. I can barely keep up. Okay, yeah. Yep.
Yep, they're all there, are they?
Yeah, Tamor says, my favourite thing to do was to find the buskers and run into them, then watch as they stand there, heartbroken.
Oh. I guess they drop their
in the game, he says, in the game, obviously. In the game. Also, a good joke here, maybe not if you live on Merseyside. Someone called Gatatog says, GTA Liverpool, good luck finding a car with wheels.
Ha! Oh, jokes.
I was due to, this is a complete aside, I was due to go to a stag do in 2 weeks in Liverpool, but we've had to cancel it because it's the same weekend as Chelsea and Liverpool in the football.
Oh.
And the cheapest hotel is a mind-boggling price.
Yeah.
So, and it's probably going to be not the right weekend to go there.
No,
so.
I don't think it's the kind of time you want to be trying to have fun.
Good point from 14 Kip, who says London didn't look too bad on PS2 in the Getaway. Anyone remember that one? Like that? Yeah, I totally remember the Getaway.
Yeah.
It's sort of part of my seminal memories in games journalism, working on PSM2 magazine, where we went to see them and they'd taken all these photographs of the world. And again, that's actually an interesting and instructive tale, because that game was developed by Brendan McNamara, who went on to develop LA Noire, and I think the now cancelled Whore of the Orient game.
Yeah.
His approach seemed to be very much that we build a world first and then worry about filling it, which is actually what Rockstar do, as we chronicled on GTA 5 O'Clock.
Exactly, yeah. That's how they start off. They make the world first and then fit the story in around it.
But I think it seems like Rockstar are better at doing that than perhaps the Getaway team had been. Like, the Getaway was released and it most definitely had issues.
Yeah,
the stealth sections, oh my god.
There's a lot of problems with that game. But visually, I remember the first screenshots coming out and going, is that really... I mean, it sounds silly now because it's on PS2. Or was it on PS3? What?
PS2.
And it was like, is that really a screenshot? Or is that a photograph? That was probably my mind putting a few extra details in there and convincing myself that it looked amazing. But it did look good for the time.
Yeah, no, it genuinely was a handsome game. Particularly the driving sections especially looked really good. The vehicles were good. Car damage wasn't bad.
Oh, the voice acting was...
It's excruciating. It was the worst parody of like sweary
London
East End
coppers,
gangster. It was really the language was properly profane and offensive in all the wrong ways. I can't even talk
Let's stop
about
talking about it, Dan.
Yeah.
And I think let's draw this to a close.
Yeah,
then.
let's do that. Thank you everyone for watching. Defender1904 says thanks for streaming. No, thank you for watching. We say please press the follow button on Twitch to see more.
Come back next week.
Yeah, more next week. We'll be back next Friday, but in the interim we've got live streams on CVG every 6 p.m. GMT. That's UK time, and that's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Follow the site for more details, or at CVG_news. I'm Dan Dawkins for CVG. You've been watching James Jarvis play Infamous Second Son on PS4. It's available for you to buy today.
Right now.
Right this second, should you be near a game shop.
Or the internet.
I don't know, yeah, and you can buy it on PSN, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so, yeah. Oh, Tamor says, Whore of the Orient is still in production. Adding the caveat, not that anyone cares. So it felt like that at times with LA Noire. It was in production for 17 years, but it did come out. It was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Zorvane asked when GTA 5 O'Clock Live will return. We're not sure right now, but we will keep you informed.
It will be back though, don't worry about that.
And then Dino Jaram says, you guys rock, can't believe you bother by playing crap like this.
Well, it's debatable.
It's alright, and Green P008 says this game looks awesome.
Yeah,
it does look awesome, and I would recommend you to read the review by Tamor on the CVG site. Really
or watch our review.
Or watch the review, which is based on the same text. If you just want to see more lovely graphical effects, on the channel, which we said, we've got a video of 10 shamelessly brilliant graphical effects for you to show your Xbox owning mates, if that's your thing. Like, if you think somehow that proves something about any of your lives, you can show them that clip and go, ha, I chose a superior piece of hardware. That somehow validates me in some way. I always do that, James.
Do you? You're always
No,
showing
I-
your mates.
I rarely do that, but I do like good graphics. Slayer has liked the channel, thank you, and he says thanks for the entertainment. Thank you guys, that's really, really nice comments, thanks so much. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, we're about to tune out. Have great weekends, see you all again soon.
Bye.